and welcome to another episode of Ljubljana Talks, recorded live in Frankfurt at IMEX 2025 here in Frankfurt. And with Gorazd, we have a very special guest, who is actually our neighbor here next to our stand, Jon Noonan from minus 45 dB.
Correct.
So it's a sound, there's already a sound element to the name of your brand. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Of course. So the premise of minus 45 dB is the amount of show floors that we've all been on in exhibition centres or venues or temporary structures where, similar to today at IMEX at IMEX Frankfurt, where there's so much sound that's bouncing around the halls that if you wanted a private meeting or a breakout room or you wanted to deliver content where you need that level of sound to be reduced, I've developed a product that can do that. And it's developed specifically for the event and exhibition industry. And what that means is that there's some key bits that are required within that, right? As we all know, speed of putting stuff up, obviously you get 1 or 2 day build at best in this environment. So that's obviously a critical factor to make sure that any structure goes up quickly. So it's designed with that in mind. Then with the actual sound reduction element, so we could have made it 100 decibel reduction, but it would take so long to put up that it wouldn't be viable. It costs an absolute fortune. And what we've managed to develop is something which goes up quickly, gives a really healthy sound reduction on the show floor, and is competitively priced so that it's accessible to as many organisers as possible.
With Gorazd, we've had a lot of conversations these days, and I think there's a red line between them is we are all talking about well-being, wellness,
yes,
mental health, the quality of life and work. And I guess a lot of people don't notice the noise perhaps that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
until it's gone.
Until it's gone.
Yeah, and then they do.
We actually had some people, when we did it yesterday, when we visited your stand, we loved it.
Yeah.
And we actually took some people today just to test the whole thing, which is a little bit like, that scene from Ace Ventura, the pet detective going, So it was really fun. And people don't know how much effort the brain actually requires to
100%.
annihilate all the white noise that is happening here around us to be able to focus, to talk to you even.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we, of course, recording this with microphones, it helps us to a certain extent to use technology. We can cancel some things out. How effective would you say is the difference between what is happening out here and what is happening inside of that booth?
Well, it's not really for me to say. Now, I can speak about all the clients that we've delivered for who continuously come back. I mean, we've been on the market, it's been developing for 7 years. We brought it to market last year, and since then it's been chaotic in the sense that the speed of growth has been unbelievable, which shows that the product works, that the people that are using it really engage with it, really see the value. So, you've been in there, as soon as you close that door, it's tranquil. It's completely different, and nothing else exists in the world. And the reason I can say that is because I've had my IP lawyers searching the world to find something so that we can get the patent on it. So it doesn't exist anywhere. So I'm comfortably say this doesn't exist anywhere in the world, only with minus 45 dB. And I think what that gives, talking about mental health and that side of things, is that the ability for people, and what we're finding is a bit of a trend at the moment around wellness and around organisers having to take that more seriously. So we have a solution here where we can deliver a sound-reduced wellness neurodiverse space on the show floor competitively, globally. So there's no reason really now for organisers not to use it, because they have the perfect option here. And to be fair to IMEX, they do it very well here. They've got their own spaces here which they use for that. But there's a lot of organisers who haven't got that available to them. So this as an option for that is fantastic, as well as all of the other sort of uses of that. But it doesn't exist anywhere, and you are testament to how good the product is. It's really hard saying that because it's ours and it feels a bit indulgent to say that. But if I'm not going to say it, who is, right? So.
What I also like is that you have a kind of startup energy, you're bringing to the trade show. Tell us more about yourself, about your story, about how you started, and how this company started. What is behind?
So it all started for me. I went to university in the UK. I was promoting nightclubs at uni, so I used to go out an awful lot, 5 or 6 nights a week. Every time I went out, I'd bring some people with me. That got more and more and more. Okay. And then before you know it, I'm promoting festivals, doing Prodigy, Chemical Brothers, Mark Ronson, large-scale festivals. Then went into set up sales and marketing structures within corporate companies. And then from there, took a bit of a sidetrack into furniture. So I own the largest furniture company in the UK called Thorns Group for hire for events and exhibitions. So we do things like Formula 1 Grand Prix, Royal Ascot, Chelsea Flower Show, Wimbledon, etc. Yeah, large-scale events. And then on the exhibition side, we do all of the big exhibition centres and all the organisers for exhibitions. And as part of that, I was having conversations with organisers and stand builders every single day of my life, and the consistent theme that kept on coming through all of that was the sound. So we developed the sound reduction. So it's been a bit of a journey from nightclubs into large scale events, into corporate events, into all of that. So
this is a kind of spin-off of your main company. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's I think the appetite that we've seen over the last 12 months suggests that the next couple of years is going to be a really exciting time for us as a business. Like you say, we're very early in our growth on minus 45 dB. My other business is very well established in the market, but and you're absolutely right, energy is the right word, I think. The energy that's getting behind this is unbelievable. So we're talking...
We can feel it, Yeah.
That's
your
good.
neighbours.
Yeah. So you can see people, you can hear people coming out and experience, So, and that sort of leans into where we're going with it. So, I've been around 12 months in the UK. We open up in the UAE next month. So in 4 weeks, we'll be launching at the Middle East Event Show in UAE. So Dubai, Abu Dhabi, KSA, so Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is showing quite a lot of interest in the product as well. And then obviously when you come to a show like IMEX, and it's the whole of Europe as well as the rest of the world, and then you start interacting with people like yourself and all the other... I mean, it's amazing what's on the horizon for us, I think. It's really exciting to be part of, obviously.
What is the secret of this panels?
Well, if we told you that, we would have to... I think the panel is obviously the thing, and the way that the whole infrastructure interacts with itself. So the fact that you can put a roof on it, you can put air conditioning on it, you can brand it, you can have glass walls, non-glass walls, that the power is driven externally so it doesn't protrude internally. That's all the bits that people like. The key bit is obviously sound reduction, but when you're talking to people, as soon as you step in, that almost becomes an afterthought, because it does what you think it does when you walk in, and then it's like, well, what else does it do? Can it do this? Can it do this? So within the panel, there's a whole host of different things that create what it is, but it's an enclosed panel which all locks together. But outside that, I couldn't possibly tell you what's actually in it.
We could do one of those things that you say, I'll tell you, we close the door, and then you just see the mouth open.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The question that I would have first is the panel actually inside? It works so that the noise created within the booth is captured by the walls, right?
Yeah.
So would it be applicable, if we're talking about general noise reduction, if you would just have, let's say, the back walls of certain stands to reduce the noise? It would probably work as well, right?
So Soundwave doesn't quite work like that.
Okay.
So within the reason why this works, and I'll come on to some of the developments, the reason why this works is because sound as a wave isn't linear. So it will bounce off things. So you will see that within that panel you have to have absorbers, you have to have air gaps, you have to have blockers, you have to have all of these different things within a panel to absorb different.
I mean,
parts
it's not
of the
just
wave.
egg holding.
No, it's not. Far from it. I mean, there is none of that in there. So I can tell you that there's none of that in there.
You want a copy?
Yeah. So there will be a sound reduction, but it will bounce off the ceiling.
Okay.
And then so the ceiling's obviously quite key. So if you don't have a ceiling, noise will bounce off, echo, bounce back into, but it will offer some form of reduction.
So if we would put the ceiling right here on it, it would already work. Because right now, I don't know how much of this our audience can hear.
Yeah.
We have some wonderful song and drumming, and it is not even 3 o'clock yet, which I think is not how IMEX is planned this.
Yeah.
But it really is an amount of noise that is overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, right now,
it's probably 100 decibels.
it's an immense thing.
Yeah.
And so exactly this is my next question. Why 45? Is there a specific noise area of noise that you specialize in?
It's a very, very good question, actually. So the way that this has been modified and developed is that we went to an exhibition, we set up sound recording equipment for hours and hours and hours on end, and we did an attenuation report on the sound wave. And what we've developed is depending on the bottom end, so we developed it for the sound of an exhibition fundamentally, or an event.
Okay.
Because if something's really bassy, so you say that was a bass drum, well obviously that wouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like it's understanding the wave, and so this is for ambient noise around the type of sounds that we get outside of although if you go in there now, it will obviously feel way better than it is out here. So that's what we've developed it for. With regards to your other question around the whether it was the roof, wasn't it? Whether that would obviously reduce sound. Yes, absolutely. But it won't be to the level that we've got.
Because the question I have is, if you would put a roof on every single stand, you would probably reduce a lot of noise.
Yeah, so part of the development will be some sort of solution, right?
Because it's a closed.
Yeah, I can't really go into what it is, but I think it's fair to say that there might be a minus 45 dB light version, because obviously with regards to this, it's a very specific criteria. It can't be for everybody inherently in the nature, because the budgets, it's way more expensive a shell scheme, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I do think there's an area for development with the product that we developed to be able to make it into a light version, which might support with something like this, where you can enclose. So the scope for this business is monumental, and if we could develop, which who knows, we might already be, something which might take care of a shell scheme solution to offer that. So if we take this here, to offer you that reduction at a far keener price point to allow it more accessible to everybody, obviously that would be ideal. Yeah.
And this is also, it's possible to do. Do you have also outdoor version of it?
Yeah, another very good question. I fly to UAE tomorrow for a week. When I get back, we're launching or doing the test build for our outdoor version. So we will have case studies for the outdoor version. We think that we will go to market in the summer, ready to take from probably January 26.
Just for the corporate product launches and so on, this is a perfect
100%.
solution.
And then you think about all of the big events like the Golf, the Formula One Grand Prix, Glorious Goodwood, or venues where they have organisers that have outgrown the space, but they want to put stuff in car parks, and you take other venues like that. Then that could be obviously a solution for that. Absolutely.
What is for you a definition of a good event? To finish with that,
Always.
Since you have experience from, I don't know, as you said, your journey is quite interesting.
Parties, raves, festivals. I think it always comes back to interaction and that human touch, because look, if we all think about why we went into events or why we go to events, it's all about, and we tried it with COVID to do this remote virtual thing, and the reason why events have come back so strongly is because as humans we want to interact with other humans. Like if we were on a Zoom call, doing this exhibition, we wouldn't have met. We wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't have seen this, and it's actually human. So all of these stands are fantastic. All of these are fantastic, but it always comes back to people, humans, interacting with other humans. And I think that's what makes a good event. If there's good people there that are enjoying the event, that have like-minded people, that's what makes it. You can have an amazing stand if you don't interact with anyone.
Well, if you have an amazing stand, then nobody can hear what you're talking, and everybody loses their voice, and everybody has a headache at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So I think it's an amazing piece of technology. I think it has a really interesting future, I think. I think that's kind of the end of our talk for today.
Really appreciate you.
Here
we go. Here's a kicker.
We usually have a couple of short questions.
Fine, here we go.
So, techno party or a classical concert?
Very good question, again. I think they both got their merits. I think me, 20 years ago, 100% techno, like every day of the week. Paul van Dyk, Tiesto, or Armin van Buuren, all of those, yeah. Now I'd probably go classical.
Day or night?
Again, it feels like I've done all my night time. I've always had my fill of night time. So now I'm a very early riser. I love the day and I go to bed early. So
we'll finish it with one more: the mountains or the sea?
God, these are good questions. I think mountains. I think you can do a lot in the mountains, like walking, hiking, mountain biking, skiing. Mountains are amazing, but then you can do a lot in the sea, wakeboarding, skiing. I think if I could only do one, I'd do mountains.
Thanks for being our guest.
Appreciate you both, thank you.
Really
Cheers.
Great neighbor too,
Brilliant.
so
thank you.
we enjoyed that.